everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Flourish with Ashley. Here we talk about breaking the weight cycle and living an abundant life starting today, even in the midst of singleness. So I just wanted to share an experience I had recently. I wanted to share an experience I had recently. I attended my first book event as a published author this past May. If you haven't known or heard the news, I released my guided journals titled Flourishing Solo, and it's a 31-day guided journal um, walking through solo experiences, solo dates, and just learning how to experience the moment and to love your own company. So there was a local event that I had planned to attend. I purchased the tickets a few weeks ago and I was looking forward to it. But sometimes when you plan things so far out, when that time actually comes, you don't really feel like doing the thing anymore. So that's kind of how I was feeling that day. And it was an evening event. And I started to say, oh, well, that'll just be a donation to the event. I don't think I feel like going. But I just decided, hey, I'll go and maybe I'll just stay for an hour or so because the event was scheduled for about 4 hours in the evening. So I was going to the event and they were stating it was more like an informal gathering, a book swap, and you could network and, sell a few copies of your book, but it wasn't advertised as just an author expo or like a signing event. So I started just to take a few copies of my book with me and leave the rest here at the house. But I think it was just God nudging me to bring it along. So I put the books back in the box and I took the box to the car with me. And I said, I'll just keep the box in the car and I'll walk in with a few just in case. But I kid you not, I walked into the event maybe 15 minutes after it had started, signed in, got my name tag, and there was a few people that were already kind of settled. It was pretty quiet so far. It was just getting started. But they were playing games and they noticed I had books in my hand. So everyone just kind of like was motioning, hey, what do you have there? They wanted me to tell them about the books that I had brought with me. And so the few copies that I had with me, I ended up selling right there within the first 5 minutes of me being at the event. I didn't even get to like sit down and get my free coffee and look through the swag bag. It was just from the moment I got there for like 3 hours straight, I was talking, networking. People were buying my books. I actually had to say, okay, I'm gonna go out to my car, get the box and bring the whole thing in here. And they were, very supportive, very, very loving. Like that wasn't the first time that I had met them. And they were like, yeah, you're going to want to go get your books because we have a whole book club coming in here and they're going to want them. So I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and go before, it starts to get more crowded and everyone starts coming in. But I'm sure by the time I got back with the books, people were telling me like, yeah, they're looking for you. The people that were coming in were seeing our copies and wanted to know where they could purchase their book too. So from the moment I arrived, I was just, selling copies, networking, speaking with other authors. And just had a great experience all out. And I mentioned it, I said it to one person, and then someone else said it to me later on. She was like, see, you was about to miss your blessing. And I was like, you're right. You're right. So that was nothing but the enemy that was trying to get me to stay home or, not bring the books with me or kind of just discourage me, thinking that, okay, it's an event that's, they're encouraging book swaps and just a meet and greet and you're gonna sit and hang out and play games and that type of thing so that people weren't going to be there to like buy and purchase things, but everyone that I spoke to just about was willing to invest into my book and what I was doing, and they really loved the story just behind it in general. So it was very encouraging to me, and I was very thankful to all the guests, everyone that was there, everyone that I met. I made some good connections, people that I will, keep in touch with and continue to go to more events. So that was just a great boost for me. And yeah, it was just, a really good lesson, a good experience and a good lesson. Sometimes you just have to show up. Even if you don't want to, you don't feel like it, it's real easy to let the devil get you discouraged. Like, no one's not going to want this, or, this just, just another day. But, when you show up with intention, then you let God do the rest. Um, Especially with online and the way things are going. You hear a lot about digital marketing, and everywhere I look, everywhere I turn, it's another ad, or someone has another method of doing something. But even though that method may work for them, God works in his own ways. He may not want that to be the method for you to be successful in your sales, or he wants to get the glory from all that you do. And so that was a lesson for me, in just learning that you just show up as yourself, show up in general, but show up as yourself authentically, because I learned I didn't have to do much work, I didn't have to do much of any work, honestly. And I had a few people even say, like, I will sit and listen to your story and let you talk, but honestly, just from the presentation or how the journal looked, that they was interested in purchasing without, hearing from me. But I appreciated that. But still, I wanted to, give them the opportunity to ask me any questions if they had it, to, look at the journal and see what all was included within it. But I did appreciate that. So, you can't always use the methods that someone else is using. And also I kept thinking about David, when he went and he battled the Philistine, he battled Goliath, and everyone thought, oh, this scrawny little boy, what's he gonna do against this giant? The giant's gonna kill him. And he shows up, as his scrawny, skinny little self, and he shows up with what he had in his hand to fight Goliath, when they were trying to give him all this armor, all these tools, but it just, it didn't work with him for what he needed to do. It was kind of holding him back. So he went in there with a slingshot and a rock, and he used what he had in his hands. And so that's what I got. It was God was saying, just show up as you and use what you have, use the personality that you have, the voice that you have. Just show up and be you. So, um, so yeah, I was very inspired, encouraged, and happy with being able to walk out from the event. Um, I'll pretty much say selling out. I kept one copy because I had promised it to someone I would see the next day. But yeah, God, He provided, and it definitely encouraged me to continue on with my journey. And so I'm looking forward to the next event that I have coming up. And if you would like to purchase your copy of the Flourishing Solo 31-Day Guided Journal, I will leave the link for you in the description box below. Until next time, keep flourishing.